So, I'm not gonna lie, I often struggle with my photography. I've been shooting for many years now, but focusing on the video side of things professionally, I feel like my stills photography skills are treading water at more of a beginner level. Sometimes I do get lucky and nail a great photo, and while I do know the basics of what makes a good image, I'm having a hard time visualizing it through the viewfinder of a camera. Any camera. It's usually not until I see the finished photo on my computer screen that I can tell whether I like it or not. I find that strange, and needless to say, it's something I really need to work on. But I'm curious, am I alone in this, or do any of you feel the same? And if so, how do you handle it? Let me know down below, I'm genuinely interested. Either way, let's jump right back into the first part of the second day of our little weekend getaway back in June of 2022. In fact, it takes place on June 6th, which happens to be Sweden's Flag Day, where we celebrate getting our own flag following the dissolution of the Union with Norway in 1905. But enough of the history lesson, that's not why you're here. You clicked on this video to boost your self-esteem by looking at mediocre photos and watching some dude in Scandinavia make a fool of himself, am I right? Okay, great. I'm so glad you're here. Anyway, following a terrible night's sleep, here's where the day started. Oh yeah, and the wireless mic system I talked about in the first part of the previous upload still wasn't working, so this episode sadly also suffers from poor audio quality on location. Sorry.
Alright, so good morning. I wish I could say that and mean it. It's not too bad. But I'm tired, and I will explain later. Yesterday I messed up a little bit, so I'm gonna try to not do that today. Right.
Wow, what a pro.
Okay, so just to be sure, this is supposed to be shot number 1. No, 0 now. So this might be nothing, but it also might be something. So I'm thinking about taking a shot out the window, and I'm gonna go with a 28mm today just to get a little bit of difference, but this is still the 85. So I'll take 2 shots now because one might not turn out, and then change to the 28mm. That's the plan.
Fresh morning. Mildly interesting shots. A few of East Stockholm's rooftops. On a different note, Kodak Gold 200 has great latitude. Or maybe I'm just amazing at nailing exposure, which is always something. This third one I like a lot better. The sky is a little blown out above the building to the right, but it's not the end of the world. It was more of a test shot anyway, so. The next image I took was aimed almost straight down, and I kinda wish I shot it vertically instead. But it's not nearly good enough to analyze further, so moving on. Although that light pose kind of frames the fruit palettes in an interesting way, but I still think the shot would have been a lot better if it weren't there. After having swapped to the Tokina 28mm f2.8 lens, we went out for an early morning stroll. With my beloved Canon FTB close at hand, naturally. As if I'd ever go outside without it. Now, I'm definitely more of a tight lens kind of guy, so shooting wide angle is certainly not my strong suit. But it's a challenge I'd happily take on. Ooh, look, a bicycle. I like the few but vibrant colors in this photo, and how they complement each other. It's also detailed and a bit cozy, but still not fantastic. It lacks a subject, interest, balance, and, well, any other component required to make something worth viewing? Or does it? I don't know, maybe. Moving on. Ha! Funny looking trees. This photo bothers me. It had such potential, but it lacks balance, and I think it's one of those photos that would have looked good with some sort of symmetry. Sure, that fenced off path to the right would have messed it up anyway, but otherwise it could have worked. Oh well. Here you can see me take a photo of, a thing. And here's another decent one that would have been well suited as a stock photo for a low-level real estate agency. But as a film photographer's street photography portfolio candidate, it's honestly more of an eyesore in my opinion. This playground will haunt my dreams for many moons, that's for sure. I just hope I didn't insult the ghosts living in it with my bad pictures of their exorcist-inspired backyard scarecrow kind of guy type fellow figure. Speaking of ghosts, here's a very non-churchy looking church. Apparently worthy of a few more shots. Now that I'm much older and wiser, ever since I took this photo, I may not always agree with the choices made by my younger self taking said photo, but it's alright this one. Yeah, I just don't have much to say about these photos. They're quite bland, but I still wanted to show them, so you're welcome. This picture of Emma I really like though. But admittedly, it's mainly thanks to the subject rather than the photo itself. It's a little distorted due to the wide angle, but pretty cool nonetheless. Alright, that does it for the morning section of this episode. After this, I also swapped lenses back to the 85mm, but you're gonna have to wait until the upcoming sequel to find out how that went.
Didn't sleep too well last night.
But before we end the video, I want to ask you something. Namely, what do you think about this structure or concept where I split every episode into 2 parts and release every week, as opposed to leaving them as they are, i.e. twice as long, and uploading them twice a month instead? Personally, I don't mind longer videos. On the contrary, I prefer it when I can sit back and enjoy a story in its entirety. But sadly, YouTube's algorithm strongly favors more frequent uploads. And add to that the fact that the general attention span among the average viewer shows that most of you are probably less prone to watch a longer video until the end. But I'm still interested in knowing which you prefer. Please take a moment to share your thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe and thumb up the video if you liked it. I'll see you in about 7 days, depending on when you watch this, of course. Hello. So, great Great, off to a great start. I'll talk about the hat some other time. It's special. It was a gift, and I really like it. You know, like it's not my style, but I guess it could be. If I wear it, it is, right? Ooh, look, a bicycle. In fact, it takes place on June 6th. Ooh, look, a bicycle. In fact, it takes place on June 6th, which happens to be Sweden's... Ooh, look, a bicycle. You clicked on this video to boost your self-esteem by... self-esteem? Ooh, look, a bicycle. But as a film photographer, Ooh, look, a bicycle. Rather than... Ooh, look, a bicycle. I need water to be able to read that properly. Ooh, look, a bicycle. But focusing on the video side of things... What?